I wanted to say thank you to Adrian, the Blue Flamingo, for being so kind as to spotlight me as his Halloween choice in his You Should Be Watching series. That was very sweet, very thoughtful, and it was really a huge surprise. And just wanted to say thank you. And I hope that anybody who was turned on to my channel as a result hasn't had their eyes burned out by the sheer stupidity of it. Hi, how's everybody doing? Well, I've been away for a little while, but here I am, I'm back again. And as has happened in the past, whatever the reasons might have been for me to have been away, they weren't exactly intentional. I will say, without going into a great amount of detail, that I had actually attempted to produce 3 other movie review vlogs during the course of my absence. And for one reason or another, they just sucked. I mean, I do kind of insist that I sort of try to impart some kind of, knowledge about these things. And sometimes it just dries up. It's like a sun-dried hole in the desert, my brain sometimes. Or, stupid damn migraine, which I am now still trying to get rid of. Or just, I have a little bouts of depression. So, any number of things can derail me from doing this, but I just want to jump back on here and try to do something, because I really do enjoy doing these things, in addition to some other projects that I still have in the works that I need to finish. But in the weeks past, I've gotten hold of some of my all-time favorite movies that I had never actually been able to acquire for one reason or another. Mostly because I spend all of my spare money on all of these monster movies, or horror movies, or movies that are sort of somewhat related to horror in one way or another, even if they're not strictly horror. But certainly very dark, let's put it like that. Of course, it's already been very well established that I'm a huge fan of films that possess a certain darkness about them, even if there are no mad scientists or monsters in sight. One of them being The Libertine.
I can't help it. I'm a greedy slob. It's my hobby.
Starring Johnny Depp and John Malkovich. The film version of the renowned play of the same name. Amazing film. Absolutely amazing. Bombed miserably at the box office, but God, I am glad they made it, because it is just an amazing work. Looking for Richard.
Of course you realize this means war.
Okay. Al Pacino's documentary illuminating his thoughts on Americans performing Shakespeare, in addition to imparting some of his takes on the character of Richard III. One of my all-time favorite movies, if I had a top 5 list, it would be like number 2. Amazing, wonderful film. Let the Right One In. Now, this is a horror film, European film, and I'm not reviewing it here, so and I still don't want to say too much about it, but it's just an amazing film. I heard about it for a long time. I finally got around to seeing it, then finally got around to acquiring it. It is just heart-tuggingly beautiful vampire film. And there is an American remake called Let Me In. I haven't seen the film, but from the trailer, I would say I'm not nearly as happy with it as I am the European version. But anyway, what have we been doing lately? I trust everybody's had their fill of turkey. Being the turkey hound that I am, I can never have my fill of turkey. And for those of you who are vegetarians, I apologize for being so, grotesque. I feel sorry for the birdies. I do. In any case, during the holidays, I've been watching some cool old black and white flicks. Pat and I have been watching this one in particular, most recently, the Inner Sanctum film series, which features Lon Chaney Jr. as doing something other than the Wolfman for a change. And they're fun. They're fun little 1-hour mysteries, inspired by the long-running radio series of the same name. They're just, if you like those kinds of, old black and white 1940s mystery films, they would be right up your alley. But the two films I wanted to talk about here specifically this evening, not that I have too much framework worked out here because framework gets in my way, hail from this collection, the Universal Horror Collection. And this was a limited edition release, which was very difficult to get a hold of. And then, after I'd finally done so, they released it as a sort of a wide release. Now it's much easier to get a hold of. I spent way too much money getting this, but to me it's worth it. Two films. The first film being The Black Cat, and the second film being Night Monster. The Black Cat has nothing to do with Edgar Allan Poe, even though in the beginning credits they tout his name endlessly. The only thing even remotely to do with Poe is the fact that it's got a black cat in it. That's it. Both of these are the kinds of films that I've talked about in the past. They're hybrids. They're a combination of the horror and mystery whodunit genres. And they feature horror stars, horror icons in them to sort of act as red herrings, so that instantly, of course, when the audience sees Bela Lugosi, who stars in both of these films, their instinct is to say, "Oh my gosh, well, yeah, it's Bela Lugosi. He's got to be the bad guy. He's got to be the murderer. He's got to be the guy who's doing all of these dastardly things." And, well, it's ruining nothing at all to say that it's just a ruse. It's someone else entirely. They just wanted you to think that. But yeah, The Black Cat is about an old woman who is getting ready to shuffle along the mortal coil, and she's reading her will to her greedy family, who can't wait for her to get out of the way so they can spend her money and sell her property and live the life of Riley, as it were. Don't tell Pat I said that. She being a Riley. Yes. So anyway, this poor old lady. She is the cat lady from hell. She has this huge mansion, and it is filled with cats, all of whom she adores, much more than her family. And of course, once you see her family, you'll understand why. The money-grubbing so-and-sos. But some of the more prominent cast members were Broderick Crawford in a very rare comedic role. He went bouncing around in this movie very much like Cary Grant did in Arsenic and Old Lace. He looks like a cartoon character, the way that he's just careening and, blimping off of the walls and onto the floors and, just, taking pratfalls and things. Very interesting to see him doing something for laughs. And it is a sort of a combination of a comedy and a mystery and a sort of a horror film. Who else? Alan Ladd, before he was ever any kind of star, has a small supporting role in this. Plays a little Weasley guy, which he basically was anyway. No matter what he was playing, he was kind of a little Weasley guy. Either had him standing on boxes or had his leading ladies walking in deep trenches to make him look taller. Basil Rathbone, of course, definitely one of the godfathers of horror, although he, certainly was renowned for, working in mystery and other kinds of films as well. So there's that. And the other film being Night Monster. And here's the sort of inner sleeve of this package with some more graphics on it. And Night Monster also features Bela Lugosi. In The Black Cat, he's the caretaker of the property who rounds up all the cats when it rains. And in Night Monster, he's the butler. And they want you desperately to believe that, the butler did it. That old cliche. Night Monster has to do with a reclusive millionaire fellow who's suffered some debilitating exotic disease and has lost the use of his limbs. And he's invited the doctors who failed to help him to either pat him on the back figuratively and say, that's all right, boys, or exact some kind of revenge. It depends. In any case, there are murders afoot. One by one, all of these sort of secondary characters are dropping like flies, and they're being murdered very mysteriously in the fog by something that scares the crickets so bad they stop chirping. And there's all sorts of sort of exotic mysticism that's called into play here, materializing skeletons with carrying chests that drip blood all over the carpets, and just all sorts of, just all of that, old dark house foolishness. It is probably of the two much more a kind of a monster movie. More so than merely just being a murder mystery. And all of these movies were done on stock sets, the sets that were built for other films, and they just sort of redressed them a little bit. And they were very inexpensive to produce. And all the actors were basically under contract, and it's not like they had any choice. It's the studio said, this is what you're doing this week, and that's what you did. So anyway, they're fun films. Anyway, well, so much for this. Here's my middle of the night vlog. I just want to try to get into the swing of things and, try to get something uploaded and get back into doing the series. So anyway, thanks for listening to this babble. You guys are very good to, hang with it. And I hope everybody is doing well. And I'll talk to you later.